Hi, friends. Welcome to Race to Rise podcast, a place where we discuss bite-sized wisdom nuggets with easy-to-follow practices to live a better life. I am your host, Mital Patel, a parenting junkie, Ayurveda enthusiast, and an advocate of conscious living. Happy holidays! I hope you all are enjoying this time with your family, and I know we all know how these past 2 years have been tough. So just take this moment, take all in, take the joy, forget everything next year is going to bring. Let's focus on this moment. How are you adding value in your kids' life? How are you adding value in your life? How are you, focusing on the moment? Be grateful. How are you showing the appreciation and the gratitude for the entire year? We have one more week to left. And so today I wanted to share some of the reflection questions that you can reflect on this last year and how things have been, and how, because it's so important for us. If we want to know where we want to go, it's important for us to know where we are right now, right? The location of the current reality, because that will help you create the path and choose the path where you can or how you can go further. So today I wanted to share some of the journaling prompts to reflect on the last year. One of our rituals on the Christmas day has been since 2015, so last 6 years, we have focused on the family. We don't do, not a massive celebration, but this is like a more, immediate family celebration, like intimate celebration, where we're like really honed on to like our values, and we're really talking about how things have been this entire year. What could I have done better, or what can I do better going forward? We discuss our rituals, what worked this year, what not worked this year, etc. And we also try to go on road trips. Yes, we do road trips on the Christmas day because nobody's out on the road. It's like a mini outing for us family. So let's so this is the right time to ask these questions as an individual and as a family, and we discuss it all together. So today I'm gonna keep it very short and sweet and just share 7 journaling prompts questions to reflect on this last year. My number 1 question is, what are you most proud of achieving last year? As an individual and as a family, as a collective family, what are you most proud of achieving last year? It's so important to appreciate the efforts, and of course it's not about the achievements, but it's very important to reflect on the process. But you can't reflect on the process unless you reflect on that one particular aspect of life that you're really proud of. So think about, what are you most proud of achieving last year? For example, I am really, really proud of myself for putting myself out there and like legit putting a price tag to my service, because I had this whole belief system that I have to serve for free of cost. And then after having a conversation with my mentor last year, but I didn't start practicing until earlier this year. It was about that, how I am disservicing my clients by not charging them. And that was the aha moment, and it took a lot of work for me to break through that belief system and to, overcome that challenging thought that was keep looping in my head that I cannot charge and I have to serve, because service means free. And service means there's no price tag to it. Because this is something to think about, when we are not charging for something, or when we get something for free, we do not attach the value. Doesn't matter what it is. When something you get for free, we don't appreciate as much as we would appreciate when we put a value tag. And the value tag doesn't have to be in terms of money. It can be in terms of the time. It can be in terms of energy. right? So there's so much to dig into it. So I am really proud of myself for putting a price tag onto my service. And I went 10 times now, and this is not to, this is not to brag about it, but I'm really proud of my services and the values that I bring to my clients. And I'm proud of myself for putting that money tag and understanding that and working with the money energy, because I used to have a lot of belief system about money is evil, money is greed, you have to work hard in order for it's like you have to swap your time for the money. Little did I know all these things are just keeping me, and I'm playing so like small by keeping all these belief system in my head. So it's been a game changer. I'm really proud of myself. And so once I focus on this proud moment, I can walk through the patterns. How did I do it? What kind of how much work did it need? What kind of podcast did I have to listen? What kind of journaling did I have to do it, right? So this is so important for us to reflect. So make sure, my friends, you reflect on one of the, and you don't have to pick so many. Pick one and then break through and work through your patterns so that okay, if I want to do something major in my life, this is how much work I'm gonna need, and this is where I can turn to, and these are some of the values that I prefer, or these are my values that I want to go, these are my guide values that can guide me, or these are my mentors that I want to invest in, things like that. So you can create a plan for the next year. Question number 2 is, how did you feel for majority of this year? So important to focus on the external, the thing or the product or the places or the people, but it's also important for us to reflect on the inner experience. How did that make me feel? Where was that coming from? It's so important to understand this. So for example, for me, my majority of this year was about making sure that I'm feeling, and I'm feeling good in my body. I learned to attune to my body and listen to my body. I have been one of those person who can neglect my body so much, and I can push myself because mentally I can hack, but physically I cannot hack it, and I used to just ignore that fact. And this year I really focused on feeling healthy, feeling that physical health was really important for me. And so internally, I was really focusing on my gut health, and I was focusing on how am I feeling internally, the health-wise, the physical health-wise, the mental health-wise. So that was my focus. Question number 3 is, if you could go back and change anything about this year, what would that change be like? Yes, it's not about dwelling on regrets, but little did I know it's so important to think about these regrets. Recently, I started reading this book called The Midnight Library, and that just opened my eye in terms of how important it is to think about, not just think about what I want or about the future, how I want, but about like some of the things that, and it's, of course, we don't want to dwell and we don't want to go and live in fantasy land, but at the same time, it can guide you. If you're stuck, it can like really be a guide point for you and for you to choose a new path. So what I learned is like about thinking about, if I wanted A and if universe gave me the A the way I planned, how would that be? And just to thinking about like how, because there are infinite possible ways to land upon. There's just no full stop to possibilities. There's so many possibilities in life, and just imagine. So if you had a chance to go back and change one thing or anything about this year, what would that change be? I want to say for me, I would really change on some of the belief system that I hang on perfection, being perfectionist and having everything, so accurate. Accuracy and precision is so important for me. And that confirmed by when I learned earlier this year about human design for me, and I am a projector. And one of the thing that you have, like your senses, we all have one of our senses that can be our guideposts. And for me is smell. And nose represents accuracy and precision, and that is so true. And so I love like all these little things about discovering of ourselves. So back to our topic, if you could go back and change anything about this year, I want to say that being flexible about perfection, and about wanting things to be really accurate and precise. I really think that I would thrive much more if I am not hung on to being perfectionist. I have to. And why would I say that? It's because there are so many things that I create but I don't share. I work on so many projects even though I know that my goal is to serve, and I am on a mission of help one parent every day, but there's something that still stops me from sharing my work, and that something has been the perfection. That I really want things to be perfect, things to be accurate and precise before I share it. And I really would go back and change that aspect. And of course, I am going to focus on that, not focusing on being perfect and sharing the work as I have and just going with the flow. Question number 4 that I want to share today is, did you burn yourself last year? Or did you feel like you didn't have as much drive to create what you initially intended on when the year began? So, and it's so, I can't highlight this enough, that getting clear here will really, really help you create an even more aligned year. So for me, I really want to say that I did burn myself out last year, here and there. For me, my burnout looks like the physical health. And recently, when I found out that I am experiencing vertigo, that's when I figured okay, because I am taking on too much and I'm burning myself out, and creating all this anxiety for myself. And this year, just so that I know, I have so much clarity because I really reflected on this question, and I know how I can create even more aligned next year by focusing on the rest. Yes, I am focusing on the rest, so that I don't burn myself out, and I don't. Productivity for me doesn't have to look like what productivity for somebody else looks like on the internet, or what productivity looks like for somebody else who is doing what I want to do, or for my role models. It doesn't have to look like I am me, and I can create my own path, but I can take from everybody else. I learn, but at the end of the day, I can choose my own criteria for being productive. So that's what I am focusing on, and I'm going to create even more aligned year, the 2022. Question number 5 is, what was an area in which you experienced the most growth last year, and how did you grow? So if I am not going to go deep into it because I can just go on and on. I really think that I have been growing and evolving and thriving more and more every day, and it really has been me versus me more on than me versus what my role model is doing, or what my mentors are doing, or what my coaches are doing. Because I know that I've had a tendency that I can really hang on to what my role models are doing, and studying them really hard, and then of course not copying, but at the same time trying to do the same thing what they are doing. And because I am really looking to serve the way they are serving, and I know that it's not serving me in a bigger way, or my audience, my clients. So this year I'm really focusing on focusing on the experience, and then I'm changing my trajectory, and focusing on how I'm really happy the way I'm growing, the way things have been working out. I'm evolving, and I'm really proud of myself, and I'm in love with myself even more than what I was yesterday. So yeah, focus on that question. Question number 6 is, what was an area in which you felt the most challenged last year, and why did you feel challenged here? I really felt for example, this is really important so that you can get you can get clarity on how you can change next year. So for example, this year my challenging part was my coaching business. I have been in such a denial of, like I said earlier, like, I'm still working through that belief system about, being an entrepreneur and going into that entrepreneur mindset. I'm a risk taker for sure, but at the same time, when it involves like money, it kind of like puts me down. And I'm kind of, it's silly, and if my friend is listening to me, she will say it's such a BS belief that, or thought that I have been entertaining. I am not certainly entertaining the thought, that particular thought anymore, and the thought is that I'm afraid of being successful. But it's so ironic that the human design wise, one of my sign is that I'm living a aligned life is being successful. And I am certainly not living that life. I am really I am just trying to figure out how can I have that breakthrough. And I do have a breakthrough, but I do end up coming back to it. So the challenging part of my thing was thriving business, because I do focus on a lot on having a thriving business, but at the same time I get hang on to, again, this all ties down to like being perfect. And my belief that service has to be free, and how when I don't charge, I'm disservicing. So for me, there's so much, like everything, all these dots are connected when I look back through all these questions, and there is a whole picture that I'm painting in. But now I know where I want to go, and how I want to go, and what are some of the thoughts and beliefs that I need to still work on and break through. And my friend, if you are in that boat, you know it, you're not alone. I am there with you. In fact, so many of us are in the same boat where we think that we got this, we overcame this belief system, but something happens and we find ourselves back to it. And it's okay. It's okay not to be okay, right? And it's okay to go back to it, because these conditioning are there for a reason. These conditioning are the ones that are helping us, because this way we know, like, hey, this is the condition, and I really want to break on this condition. I don't want this conditioned mindset, and I want to go further. If you don't know what you don't want, you're not going to know what you want, right? So it's important to have these conditions, and it's important to have these challenges, so that you know where you want to go and how you don't want to feel anymore. And the very last question number 7 is there anything you need to let go of, release, or forgive from last year? If so, what is it, and how can you let go of it today? For example, for me, I would say I really want to let go of and release and forgive myself for really putting myself through that I have to be productive 24/7, and I have to do all the time. I am really getting better, but I know I want to forgive myself for burning myself out. I know I want to forgive myself for not resting. And so I know I want to let go of that conditioned mindset that productivity has to be that I have to be occupied all the time, and I have to be doing something all the time, and I have to just go. I have to just strive for accuracy and precision, be perfect all the time. So I'm letting go of all these things, because I know that I want to focus on rest this year, and I want to go slow in order for me to go fast, right? So that is going to be my mantra. And so I hope these questions have been you will be able to reflect on these questions and set crystal clear, aligned path for next year. Enjoy your holidays with your family. Try to reflect on these questions as a family as well with your kids. Of course, it doesn't have to be big language, but you can ask them in their language. Turn the tone down. Like, what do they think about money? Or what's the first thing that comes in their mind when they hear word money, right? These are some of the questions that you can ask. Or what was so hard this past year? things like this. You can ask these questions to your kids. And so hope you enjoy this holiday. Give yourself some grace, forgive yourself, let go of things that are not serving, and focus on the things that you really want. But you can only focus on the things that you want by knowing what you don't want. So try learning about your dislikes and likes and just keep surviving.
That's it for this week's episode of Race to Rise. Be sure to sign up to our email list at risewithmittal.com and join us again next time for more wisdom about life, kids, and everything in between. I am Mittal Patel, wishing you happy raising and rising.